What a big couple of segments we have here over this next half hour live on a Monday on the early line on Sports Grid. It's Ben, it's Donnie. But the man in the middle is our coach. His scouting report to tell us if there is any life left in the 2024 NBA Finals or if it will be another easy gentleman's sweep, potential sweep for the Celtics. He's James Young, JY, but not just the scouting report, maybe JY the insider. Once again, Dan Hurley decision day on this Monday. What does James Young know about what Dan Hurley might do? Will he stay in stores? Will he head out to the bright lights of Hollywood in Los Angeles? Plenty of that coming your way over these next 3 straight segments. JY, I hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for being here on this Monday.
It's always great to be on with you. And listen, I got to say, I know we're going to talk about Hurley later, but JY tried to go to a concert this weekend. The only problem is, Ben, I got the wrong concert and the wrong
Savage
state.
21?
No.
Where do we go?
It's 21 Savage. What are you talking about?
21 Savage?
21. What are you throwing out?
Hold on a second.
Wild.
Hold on a second. We were ready to talk about Billy Joel and Dan Hurley, I guess, being in Madison Square Garden. But my co-host, Donnie Rightside, just called 21 Savage 21.
Love it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And
look in the mirror.
Not to be outdone by Donnie's knowledge of rap music, Coach Young ended up at a Chris Stapleton concert. So I was looking for him on Saturday, but wrong concert, wrong place. You know.
What does any of that have to do with anything we are discussing here?
I like it.
What is happening?
I like where we're going.
We're off to a good start. We're off to a good start.
Yeah.
What is happening? Again, I continue my Mark Jackson meme here on the early line. What is happening in the game that I love? Anyway, let's focus first on the NBA Finals in the opening 2 games of this set before we get into concerts or Dan Hurley a little bit later on. Boston victorious in game number 2, 105-98, covering ever so slightly once again as a 6.5-point favorite inside TD Garden. Pre-game total JY of 215 stays under. Boston takes a 2-0 series advantage in the 2024 NBA Finals. There are many things that you could say. Drew Holiday, stellar performance in game 2. Nobody on Dallas helping out Luka Doncic with a 32-point triple-double. But in your mind, JY, what has been the main reason the Celtics have a 2-0 series lead?
Kyrie Irving. Simply put, I said if they're going to win this series, Kyrie's got to be fantastic. And he's been anything but. You know, I thought maybe the game 1, shaking it off would be something, but to turn around and go 7 of 18 from the floor in game number 2, this guy is scoring 14 points a game, 17 of 37. This is the guy at what point, Ben, was a 50, 40, 90 player in his career. I mean, it's 50% from the floor, 40% from the 3, 90% from the foul line. He has been marginable at best. Now, listen, is he doing other things? Is he passing the ball? Yes, 6 assists last night. I get it. But if Dallas is going to compete in this series, Ben, he's got to score. He just has to. And yes, PG Washington gives you better minutes. Derrick Jones Jr. gives you 11 points. I get it. Gafford, 13 and 9. Yada, yada. You need that number 2. You need that, was that Becky Hammond? That 1A. I guess that 1B, I would say, if Luka's 1A. To take the pressure off of Luka, but also to open up for other people. Kyrie has not been good. They're down 2-0. And if he's not better Wednesday and Friday, man, by the time we get to next Saturday, this series is going to be over. He must be much better and much more aggressive and much more better in making his shots.
Here's a tough takeaway also from game number 2 is you got that great performance out of Luka, which we'll talk about in just a few moments. But Tatum and Brown, 18 points in 21. And also, Tatum couldn't hit the shot to save his life in that first quarter and a half. Finishes at 6 of 22 from the floor, and they still won this basketball game. So as you're lining up, we talked about it before the series, Coach. You said the Boston Celtics were a much deeper team. It's showing now where our superstars, talking about the Celtics, don't need to perform great, and we can still win basketball games, even though the other superstars, at least one of them, is performing well for the Mavericks. Down 0-2 moving forward. What the expectation for the Celtics? What happens if they do bring their A game out here, Coach?
If these role guys, and if you remember before the series started, I said that the A-level guys of the Mavs, meaning Luka and Kyrie, have to be much better than the advantage of the B guys that the Celtics are going to have, which is obviously Porzingis, Holiday, and White versus Jones, Gafford, and Washington. Folks, it's happening. The gap is, and because Kyrie's not bringing his part, the Celtics B guys, or glue guys, whatever you want to call them, they're bringing, and this is what makes Boston, folks, so dangerous, is any night, any one of those five can get you 20. At any night, Al Horford can go off and hit 3 or 4 threes. On any night, a guy like Peyton Pritchard can give you something off the bench. If he hasn't played well, I mean, besides the shot he hit, at the end of the third quarter, they have so many different layers to how they beat you, and they're kind of all chameleon, right? The ability for them to share roles. Now, it was interesting because of the comments that Jason Kidd made over the weekend, right? Or I think it was Saturday, right? About, Jaylen Brown being the best player. That's a slight towards Tatum. Now, if that would have got in Tatum's head, he would have been like, no, man, I have 30 shots. I'm giving it up. But what Boston did is they allowed him to be the facilitator more, put the ball in his hands more, and he kept making the right play. He may not make the shots, but he got the attention, he got the assists, and that is what made them really, really good, is the fact that Tatum could go off and be a Robin and get other guys involved. It was just a great performance by that team that is beating basically Luka and the Pips.
6 of 22 for Jason Tatum, but 12 dimes, 18 points, only 1 rebound shy of a triple-double. Jaylen Brown has scored 20-plus in each of the first 2 for Boston, but last night's leading scorer for the Celtics, that was Drew Holiday, 26 points, 11 of 14 from the floor. We'll talk NBA Finals MVP with Boston up 2-0 in our next segment. JY, it almost feels a little bit antiquated in a way, or a little bit more simply stated, that entering this series, we said that Dallas had the best player, potentially the best duo, that had to be, as you just said, for supreme to the duo of Boston if there was going to be a chance for the Mavericks to win the NBA championship, because the balance and depth of Boston would reign supreme. And that has happened here in the first 2 games of this series, despite Luka Doncic scoring 30-plus in each of the first 2, despite Luka going off for his third 30-point triple-double of this NBA playoff run for the Mavericks. But we saw him entering last night. We got the reports that he was questionable ahead of Game 2. He was getting wrapped up on the sideline anytime he checked out of the game. Can Luka Doncic's play continue at this level in a precarious situation for the Mavs as they're down 0-2?
His play can continue, but it ain't going to matter, Ben, if the other guys, namely Kyrie, don't step up. He's putting the team on his back. I mean, just think about the first quarter and what he came out there, gunning. 13 points in the first quarter, 5 of 7 from the floor, basically keeping you in the game in that first quarter, in that second quarter. Obviously, in the second half, 3 of 8 from the floor, 5 turnovers, kind of fell off a little bit. But that's why you need Kyrie at that point to start to carry the load the other way. Well, what did Kyrie do in the second half? He was 2 of 8 from the floor, 0 of 3 from the three-point line for 6 points. They need to trade roles, and that's when Dallas is at their best, because it allows Luka, I don't want to say take plays off, because he never takes plays off, but you can't load up on him as much if the second side of the floor can get going, because let's be honest, there's no one else on that team, Ben, that can create their own shot besides Luka and Kyrie.
P.J. Washington has been Dallas's second leading scorer in each of the first 2 games of the 2024 NBA Finals. Donnie and I said it in both of those 2 recaps. If that is the case, the Mavericks might not win a single game in this championship series. Will they, though, as we get ready to change venues for game number 3 on Wednesday? We look at the rest of the series next. Celtics hold serve on their home floor, which is something Boston has done inside TD Garden all year long. Should we be surprised that the Celtics have a 2-0 series lead in the 2024 NBA Finals? Maybe not, but how many more games will we see in this championship series, with Boston just 2 wins away from championship number 18? Now, JY, the Celtics entered the NBA Finals greater than a $2 odds-on favorite to win Larry O'Brien Trophy number 18. They have been booked as a heavy favorite virtually all season long. after taking that 2-0 series advantage with the 105-98 victory in Game 2. It's a minus 1,000 price in favor of the Celtics to win the NBA title this season. How many more games does the NBA Finals go?
Well, I would like to say 6, and not 6 games, but 6 games total, so 4 more games, because I do think Dallas is going to get at least one, hopefully both of the games at home. At least I'm praying to God it's the case, because Lord knows we need somewhat of an entertaining NBA Finals, because it's been anything as such. So I do think there's going to be Dallas will play better at home. A little bit of regression by some of the Celtics. Maybe someone even like Porzingis, who you never know with that leg. And the fact he's going back to Dallas. I think this is going to go 6. I said Dallas in 6. Maybe it's Boston at 6, but I still think it's going 6.
With the extension of the series, and we hope it certainly does go 6 or 7, gives us some great content and also be a great series. But game number 3 is going to be pivotal. But talk to me about this, Coach. You take a look at Luka Doncic and how well he's performed in the playoffs. But then we get those games where it's yesterday before the game. We don't even know if he's going to play, downgraded to questionable on game day. Are we worried at all about Luka's health moving forward here to try to even extend the series and get it at least back to Boston?
I mean, you always want to be concerned when you see a player go from probable to questionable, 6 hours before tip-off. That's always going to be a concern, obviously seeing how Luka was on the sideline. But Luka's a gamer. Luka's going to battle. Luka's going to come through. Luka's going to play. Luka's going to do whatever he's got to do to play. Like I said, it's about Kyrie. It's about the role players. And what you hope for is when you get into your home gym, you sleep in your own bed, maybe the shots just fall a little bit more in your own arena. At least you got to hope. I got to try and find something for Dallas to feel like they could make this run. It's tough because you look at Boston and they could just, if Tatum's off, Brown can go off. If Brown's off, there could be Holiday. If Holiday doesn't go off, there could be White. Then there's Porzingis. Then there's Pritchard. Like, for us, it's still going to be like, can Kyrie get you 25 or so points? Because you need, I would say, honestly, 50 to 55 points from the two of them, and the bench should do enough for you to get over the hump. That has not happened yet, and that's why we're in this series right now at 2-0 Boston.
JY, it seems obvious that Kyrie is the key for Dallas to win a game in the NBA Finals. Game number 3, 2 days away, Wednesday night in Dallas, as we change spots for the first time, where the Mavericks are an ever so slight home favorite, laying a 1.5, minus 122 on the money line. So outside of hope and some home cooking, from a coaching perspective, what can Jason Kidd and his Dallas staff do to get Kyrie Irving going for game number 3?
I would run him off as many screens as I can and try to create matchups and when you get switches and get Kyrie on a more favorable person guarding him. Sometimes when you bring the ball off the floor, it's easy to set up. So I would run we would call it DHOs, dribble handoffs or dribble drops. Maybe dribble drop into a ball screen. Some kind of false motion action to get Kyrie on the move, Ben, as he gets the ball, instead of having him catch and then come off the wing ball screen, or having him catch and go one-on-one. Sometimes when you get a player moving when they get the ball, they get momentum going, they get the defense moving in the direction, and then you can get into your ball screen or whatever, or stagger screen, or whatever, horns action, whatever you want to do. Kyrie's got to be on the move more and get the ball on the run. And then also, not a team that runs transition, is maybe have him be the outlet guy. So when the ball gets off a rebound, outlet it to him and let him play with space one-on-one in the open floor.
What also I'm looking forward to here is game number 3, what those injury concerns will be for Porzingis. We saw him come in and have an immediate impact in games 1 and game number 2, plus minuses over 10 in each one of those games. If we don't have Porzingis in game number 3, what do we get out of the Celtics here? Is just more Al Horford, and also the ability maybe to attack the rim does open up for a player like Kyrie Irving.
Well, that's the key thing, right? And I think that's why Boston has looked much better, is the fact that Kristaps Porzingis is averaging 2.5 blocks a game in his first 2 games back. He's a rim protector. And you know what, guys? Listen, and I think people need to understand this. It's not sometimes about the block shot, right? Or even the contested shot. It's the fact that the guy is there, and you know he's there. And now guys start to think a little bit, right, Donnie? So maybe you don't attack the basket knowing that Kristaps is there. whether he comes to block it or not. Sometimes you change what you run offensively to do so. The problem we have with Dallas is the fact is he's going to be around the basket because of the dunk spot. I mean, can you play Maxey a little bit more and give him more minutes? But he doesn't really do much besides stretch the floor, right? He's not a force defensively, doesn't rebound. It's got to be this. If Kristaps is down low, you have to live sometimes on the mid-range game. You got to be able to pull up 15 feet away to what we call that kill zone area around elbow and knock down shots there if you're nervous that KP is down there. Now, if KP doesn't play or he's compromised, that opens up a whole nother ball of wax because I don't think Al Horford, even as well as he's played in this series, is not the rim protector.
JY, it feels like we're asking the question, how many more games do we get in the NBA Finals, but ultimately not who ends up an NBA champion, as the Celtics are a minus 1,000 favorite and have that 2-0 series advantage. We hope for competition, but if Boston ends up winning title number 18, who's going to win NBA Finals MVP at this point?
It's so wild because of the fact of how well all these guys are playing in different spots. But to me, I still think it's going to be Tatum because he should still be up there in the points. But as long as he leads the series or up there in the series lead and rebounds and assists, that's how he does it because of the totality of his game. Jason Tatum right now should be the MVP.
I mean, when you look at the first two games, the MVPs for Boston have been Kristaps Porzingis and then Drew Holiday in game two. It's not like Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum has taken a stronghold on that hardware. Plenty more up next with the coach on the Early Line.